To my mind, and I think most archaeologists would agree with this, we think of the Industrial Revolution having started in the 17th, 18th century. But to my mind, it actually started nearly 4,000 years ago, at the beginning of the Bronze Age. That's when our British Isles story, our connection with metal begins. And right at the heart of it, the most extraordinary metal object, I think, from our prehistoric history in the British Isles, the mould cape, comes from northeast Wales. And so I thought it would be great to use objects like the mould gold cape from the Bronze Age, from the Age of Heroes, to actually create a heroic odyssey, a journey for the British Isles. And so working with well over 200 children now, we have been devising a heroic story. So our story is an imagined yarn about the making of the cape.
Well, I've been excited since this morning, since I woke up, and then it's been a long journey on the train, and then finally getting into London and then into the British Museum and then learning about all these different artefacts. It's an amazing feeling.
See how it's all patched together?
How close to it?
You are well close to it.
The mould gold cape is a kind of gold poncho, and it would have been worn over the shoulders, so you would have put it on over your head, and it would have gone down to about the middle area of your chest. And it's made from a single sheet of gold, originally about the size of a golf ball, that was hammered incredibly flat into this poncho, and every part of the poncho has been individually ornamented with bosses. And so it almost looks like you're wearing strings and strings of beads on your chest. We dated it to about 1,900 to 1,600 BC, so just over 3,500 years ago.
It's something that can set your imagination running wild, basically, which makes it wonderful fodder for a creative project such as this.
When I seen the mould cape, I was absolutely gobsmacked, really, because when I've seen pictures, it just looks like it's gold thing, really. And then when you see it in gold light, real life, it looks really different.
I think for me as a teacher, what is really outstanding is that this has rooted the sort of what's really important about Welsh culture and Welsh history, sort of in my heart really, and also within the children's hearts. They really understand the significance of this fantastic object.
When I found out that it was moulded with small beads and you needed a little hammer, I bet it must have been really fiddly to do, because you have to really concentrate to get the mould cape as it is now.
Usually when you learn about prehistory, when you learn about the time before the Romans, you're learning it from textbooks. And textbooks are by and large very well informed, but also not necessarily very engaging. But if you've got an object there, you've got an immediacy, you've got a connection with the past that you can see, that you can actually engage with, and that allows you to get into it. And that history through objects, that idea of accessing the past through objects, I think is something that's absolutely fundamental, and it's something that children can really relate to.
I like how the pattern's made, and I want to find out like who made the gold cape and maybe who designed it.
When I first saw the kids, it was wonderful because they were genuinely excited. You can never always tell with adults whether they're just being polite or whether they're actually quite keen. But with children, they don't naturally feign these kind of emotions. They were genuinely really, really excited to see the mould gold cape, and they all crowded around it, and they looked so happy to see it, and they were asking loads of questions, really enthusiastic to know more. And so it was wonderful for me. It really made my day to actually see that. And hopefully those kids are going to go away and they're going to get into the very distant past before the Romans. They're going to go and see Stonehenge, go and see Avebury, go and see the Brennig landscape, and actually really get into their very distant past.
To come down to London has been fantastic. Some of these children have never been on a train before, they've not been to London before. They know that they're coming down to see this thing that is special, the Gold Cape. They've been working on this project. To actually come into such a fantastic building, to meet Ben Roberts, to see the Cape, it's stunning. You know, it's really made it fun. And these are children that, you know, wouldn't really get into the sort of culture and history of their local area. This has been a fantastic opportunity. It's opened doors for these children.
I can say the British Museum are very happy to be involved with Cadw and the Cultural Olympiad on this project. And for me, it's been wonderful to actually see the way the children reacted to the mould gold cape. I'm very, very happy.
It was really, really amazing for seeing the Gold Cape for the very first time in my life, and now my dreams come true.